I pretended to be someone's boyfriend for one night and now we are married. I was sitting at a bar downtown on a Friday night, minding my own business and nursing a beer, when a woman I would never seen before walked up to me, grabbed my face, and kissed me, not a peck, a full kiss that lasted 3 seconds and tasted like wine and desperation. She pulled back, her hands still on my shoulders, and looked me in the eyes. I'm so sorry, she whispered, but I need you to play along, please, before I could ask what the hell was happening. He turned around and smiled at a couple who just walked up behind her mom. Dad, this is my boyfriend. That one I would be telling you about. Her mother was a stern and a looking woman in a blazer who looked at me up and down like she was calculating my net or her father was tall and broad-shouldered, wearing an expression that said he was ready to interrogate me about my intentions. I should have said something. I should have told them this was clearly a mistake. That I would never met their daughter before, that I was just a random guy at a bar who would been ambushed by a kiss. Instead, I heard myself say, nice to finally meet you both. She's told me so much about you. The woman's grip on my shoulder tightened in what I assumed was gratitude. Her mother's expression did not change. Interesting, she had not told us anything about you, not your name, not what you do, not how you met, nothing. That's because I wanted it to be a surprise. The woman said quickly, I knew you would be in town this week, and I wanted you to meet him in person rather than just hearing about him over the phone. Her father crossed his arms. Your name is, I looked at the woman. She looked back at me with eyes that were equal parts blending and panicked. We had not discussed a single detail of his fake relationship, and now he is supposed to have a name that matched whatever story she would invent. Andrew, I said, taking the first name that came to mind, Andrew Fletcher. And what do you do, Andrew? Her mother asked. I'm in software development, web applications mostly. The part was actually true. The woman seemed to relax slightly. How did you two meet? My father asked. The woman jumped in before I could answer. At a coffee shop 3 months ago, and spilled millet all over his laptop and felt terrible. So I insisted on buying him a new drink. We got to talking and she trailed off, looking at me to finish, and I asked for her number before she could leave. I continued. Best coffee shop accident of my life. Her mother's expression softened slightly, which I took as a good sign. Her father still looked skeptical. 3 months, he said. That's not very long. Long enough to know she's special, I said, and the woman squeezed my shoulder again. We are improvising a relationship in real time and somehow caught not completely failing. Her mother checked her watch. We have dinner reservation in 20 minutes. I assume you will be joining us. Andrew, my beer was still half full on the bar behind me. I had been planning to finish it, go home and watch basketball. Now I was apparently going to dinner with strangers while pretending to date someone whose name I did not even know. I would love to, I said. The woman finally raised my shoulder and took my hand and stayed, interlacing our finger like we would done this 1,000 times. Her hand was warm and slightly trembling. We followed her parents out of the bar and onto the street. The moment we were a few steps behind them, she leaned close and whispered, thank you, I'll explain everything, I promise, and I'm Sophia. By the way, Andrew, but you already know that because I just made up in front of your friends. She left me the small, slightly hysterical laugh. I'm so sorry. I'm panicked. They showed up 3 days early and I was not prepared, and they kept asking about my boyfriend and I did not know what to do. So you grabbed a random stranger at a bar. You were the closest person who looked reasonably dateable. I don't have time to be picky. Reasonably dateable. I will put that on my dating profile. She scooped my hand. I owe everything. Dinner is on me, and after tonight you never have to see me again. We arrived at an Italian restaurant 3 blocks away. The hostess seated us at a table near the window, and I found myself sitting across from Sophia's parents while trying to remember every detail of the fake relationship we just invented. 3 months coffee shop, spelled right. Her name was Sophia. My name was Andrew, which was actually my real name, so at least I would not forget that part. The waiter came and took drink orders. Sophia's father ordered scotch. Her mother ordered white wine. Sophia ordered red wine and looked like she wanted to drink the entire bottle. I ordered another beer and tried to look relaxed. So Henry, Sophie's mother, began on the waiter left. Tell us about yourself. Where did you grow up? Illinois, small town outside Chicago. Moved here for college and stayed for work. All true. I accidentally being honest. What made the lying easier and your family? Parents are still in Illinois. One sister, younger, she's a teacher. Also true. This was the easiest fake relationship I would ever been in. Do you see them often? Sophie's father asked few times a year. Holidays mostly, we video call regularly. Though Sophia was watching me with an expression. I could not read grateful maybe, but also curious like she was learning about the person she was supposedly dating. What about your intentions with your daughter? Her father asked bluntly. Sophia choked on her water. Dad, we've been dating for 3 months. Can we not do the irrigation things right now? I think it's a fair question, her mother said. You will be very secretive about this relationship. We are just trying to understand what's happening. I could feel Sophia dancing beside me. This was the moment where I could Bill make an excuse and this chat before it went any further. Instead, I reached under the table and found her hand the same way I should give mine outside the bar. My attention had to make her happy. I said, that's it. That's all I am focused on right now. Sophia's hand tightened around mine. Her father studied me for a long moment, then nodded slightly. Good. Good answer. The waiter returned with our drinks and took our dinner's orders. The conversation shifted to safe topics. Sofa's mother talked about the flight in their hotel. Her father asked about my job in more detail and explained web development in a way that made it sound more interesting than it actually was. Sophia jumped in occasionally with comments that suggested she knew things about my work, my habits, my life. She was good at this, better than I was. She referenced a fictional movie we'd seen together last week. She mentioned a restaurant we tried that had terrible service but amazing food. She built an intimate relationship out of nothing, and I followed her lead, adding details that made sense, that felt real. By the time of our winter ended, I almost believed we'd been dating for 3 months. Her parents had relaxed considerably. Her mother even smiled when Sophia told a very story about supposedly trying to cook dinner for her, nearly setting off the smoke alarm. He's better at ordering takeout. Sophia said, squeezing my hand above the table now. Much better, everyone has their style. I said her father actually laughed. Halfway through dinner, Sophia's phone rang. She glanced at the screen and her face went pale. Excuse me, I need to take this. She stood up and walked toward the restaurant entrance. Her mother watched her go with concern. Is everything alright? I'm sure it's fine, I said, though I had no idea. I was flying blind through this entire evening. Her father leaned forward. Andrew, can I be honest with you? Of course. Sophia has had difficult year. The breakup with her previous boyfriend was hard on her. You worry about her. She doesn't always make the best choices. I nodded, unsure what to say. I did not know anything about her previous boyfriend or her difficult year. But tonight, her mother added, seeing her with you, she seemed lighter. Hey P, I don't know what you are doing, keep doing it. The weight of their words settled. Only they genuinely cared about their daughter. They wanted her to be happy. Now here I was slipping her like to lie to them. So returned a few minutes later, her expression carefully neutral. Everything okay. I asked, fine, just work stopped, but her hand was shaking when she picked up her wine glass. Something had rattled her with the phone call. After dinner, her parents announced they were heading back to their hotel. They were in early morning tomorrow and wanted to rest, so his mother hushed her goodbye. They surprised by hugging me too. It was lovely to meet you, and I am glad Sophia has someone who makes her happy. Her father shook my hand with a grip that was slightly too firm. Take care of her, I will. They left and suddenly it was just Sophia and me standing on the sidewalk outside the restaurant. The performance was over. The curtain had closed. We were just two strangers again. I can't believe we pulled that off. Sophia said she was still holding my hand though. She was holding my hand. I was not sure if she would notice. Aprils are terrifying. I know. I'm sorry. You had to deal with that. Why did you need a fake boyfriend? I asked. What was so about telling them truth? She let me go off my hand and wrapped her names around myself. Truth is, I broke up with my actual boyfriend 2 months ago and I did not tell them. They loved him, they thought we are getting married. When they asked, so you married a new boyfriend instead of just telling them you broke up. When you say it like that, it sounds insane because it is insane of dies. Where else would we celebrate? We went that night. The bartender congratulated us and gave us sparkling cider instead of our usual drinks. This place is going to be in your kid's origin story. He said, how do you feel about that? Pro. So guess it, our kid is going to have the weirdest how did mom and dare meet story of anyone in their class. When our daughter was born, we named her Grace. Not after anyone in particular, just because we like it, but also because Grace felt like the right word for what happened to us. Grace of Sophia's impulsive decision, Grace of for my illness to say yes, Grace of everything that flowed. We both get to the bar when she was 3 months old. The bartender took a photo of the three of us sitting in the same spot where Sophia. We had first talked. This is going up on the wall. He said you two were officially bar legends. When Grace was old enough to ask how we met. I agree, but it worked out. As Grace grew up, she loved hearing on the story. She would ask us till it bedtime, adding more questions each time. What if Daddy said no? Then I would have had to give someone else. What if nobody said yes? Then I would have had to tell Grandpa the truth. Would that have been bad? Sophie and I exchanged a look. It would have been honest. I said, which is usually better than lying, even if it's scarier. When Grace was 7, she had to do project for a school about her family. She insisted on including the story of how we met. Compared to the illustration that she drew of Sophia grabbing my face at the bar. Her teacher called us in for a parent conference. Grace's project was unique. She said carefully. She said you two met because her mother grabbed you at a bar and made you meet her grandparents. That's accurate, Sophia said. The teacher didn't quite know how to respond. It's unconventional, that one word for it. I said, but it's the truth. We tell Grace honest story, even the weird ones. The teacher smiled where it certainly made for the most memorable presentation. The other kids will stop talking about it. Grace beamed with pride. On our 10th anniversary, we went back to the bar as usual. This time we brought Grace with us. She was 8 years old and so excited to see the place where her parents met. This is it, she asked. Looking around, I thought it would be fancier. It's a bar. Sweetheart, Sophia said. They are not usually fancy. The bartender who'd been working there all 10 years who'd been coming back made Grace a Shirley Temple. Your parents are the best love story I would ever seen, he told her. And I would be seeing a lot of people meet at this bar. They would wear Grace and metaphor perfectly. The best people usually are. We sat at our usual spots. Grace between us and toasted to 10 years. I can't believe it's been a decade, Sophia said. Feels like yesterday and forever ago at the same time. Do you agree get it? I asked, giving a stranger, never, best all decision I ever made. Grace tugged on my sleeve. Daddy, will you tell me the story again? We just told you this morning. I know, but I want to hear it here where it happened. So we told the story again, sitting in the exact place where it began. About panic and impulse and saying yes to something strange. About a fake relationship becoming real. About taking chances and finding love in unexpected places. When we finished, Grace said, I'm glad mommy grabbed you. Me too, kid, me too. We sat there for another hour, just the three of us, in the bar where everything started, where two strangers became something more, where a lie became truth, where a panic became love. Later that night, after we put Grace to bed, Sophia sat on the couch. 10 years, she said, since the bar, best decade of my life, mine too. She curled up against me, and do you ever think about what would happen if things had gone differently, if you would said no all the time? But you did not give me much choice. You just gave me and started lying to your parents. She laughed. True. Sorry about that. Don't be best things that even happened to me. We sat in comfortable silence. The kind that only comes after years together, after countless conversations and arguments and makeups. After building a life from nothing, and yeah, thank you for saying yes. I kissed the top of her head. Thank you for asking 15 years after that night at the bar. We took Grace, now a teenager, back to our anniversary spot. She rolled her eyes, and when he suggested it, do you have to? The place is so good. The place is where your parents met, so they said it tradition. Grace came along punctually, but by the time we got there, she was smiling. The bar had changed ownership and our favorite bartender had retired, but the place still felt the same. We sat in our usual spots and ordered our usual drinks. Grace got a soda and pulled out her phone. Mom, Dad, can I ask you something? Sure, I said. Do you think grieving a stranger is good relationship advice? Sophia and I looked at each other and laughed. Absolutely not. Sophia said, then why do you always tell the story like it's romantic? Because it is romantic, I said, but it's also unlucky. Most of the time, grieving a stranger at a bar does not end with the marriage and a family. So what's the actual 10 lessons? Great answer, we thought out about it. Take chance, says Sophia said. Even when they are scary and when someone after for something, expect it, don't ultimately say no. Sometimes the weird posts aren't the right ones. Guys, consider this. So basically, you are saying I should be impulsive and trust strangers. No, we said in unison. We are saying Sophia clarified that sometimes life puts opportunities in front of you that don't make sense. And sometimes those are the ones worth taking. Grace nodded slowly. Okay, that's actually pretty good advice. We finished our drinks and left the bar. On the way to the car, Grace said, you know, when I'm older and I meet someone, I'm going to have to come up with a way better story than we meet in dating app or Sophia suggested. We could just be honest about whenever it happens. That's usually the best story anyway. Even if it's boring, then nothing real is boring. I said 20 years after the night at the bar. Sophia and I went back alone. Grace was in college, living her own life, making her own stories. We sat in our usual spots, ordered our usual drinks. The place had changed again. New owners, new stuff, new decor, but we kept coming back 20 yards, Sophia said, shaking her head. 2 decades since I grabbed your face and ruined Friday night. Best June Friday. Night of my life. She took my hand across the bar. Do you think we have met any other way if I had not grabbed you? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I like to think we would have. That somehow, someway we are supposed to find each other. Maybe I said, or maybe you got really lucky grabbing a stranger who happened to be single and willing to go along. We could instant plan, luck, fit harder. I will take it. We sit in comfortable silence, watching other people come and go. Young couple and dates, friends meeting for drinks, strangers who might become something more. And yeah, if I could go back and do eventually, I would change a thing. Not even the lying to our parents part. Not even that. Cause it gives us this, all of it. I squeezed her hand, me. Neither we finished our drinks and left the bar one more time. We walked to the car. Sophia looked back at the intern. Same time next year, she asked always. I said, and we kept the promise every year, even anniversary, or we went back. But the place where two strangers became something more, where pretending became real, who one impulsive decision changed everything. I pretended to be someone's boyfriend for one night, and now decades later, and still her husband, still saying yes, still grateful she grabbed me at the bar, still living at the best unexpected life I could have imagined. If you enjoyed this, you will definitely want to see the next ones too. So subscribe now and let me know your take in the comments.